Hello everyone, this is me Khalid Mohammed Abdurazik, and today I'm going to discuss practice development presentation. Uh, this is our presentation today. Our outline for the presentation today, firstly we will start by introduction, and then I will give definition for practice development, and then I'm choosing one principle to talk about. I will discuss why I choose this principle, and then my analysis and discussion regarding this principle, and conclusion, and finally our my references. Introduction. Over the last 2 decades, the concept of practice development has been developed and changed according to the understanding of researcher perspective and profession enhancement. For example, according to Manley in 2004, practice development it was a workplace culture, and according to Cormack 2004, the practice development it's mainly focusing on personal centeredness. And other researchers talk about evidence implementations, and others talking about sustainable practice development. And other researchers also they mention practice development about clinical auditing and researching and continuous medical education. All of this terms it was the first era of defining practice development. However, all these previous concepts have failed to address the actual changes required in the profession or in the practice itself. This is according to Steve in 2002. Uh, all of these terms and concepts not mainly this get the result or the outcome which is required. However, in my perspective, I see that it wasn't a good idea and a good step because it was like a cornerstone for the current concept of practice development today. And here the definition of practice development. Practice development it's a continuous systematic process of improvement to enhance the efficiency in patient-centered care through working active to develop multidisciplinary team knowledge and skills and culture forward. So easily and simply, practice development it's a continuous systematic process of improvement for 3 domains, which is knowledge, skills, and culture. The aim of practice development is to push our staff on knowledge side and skill side and culture side forward. This is according to Garbett and Cormack in 2002. And according to WAS in 2000, practice development is a term commonly used in description in different activities such as clinical auditing and continuous medical education, research. Um, the stakeholder engagement is very important. This is according to Irish context to reflect on the practices and promote question among practitioners why we do and how we can perform differently. This is according to Hines in 2004. Uh, Hines in 2004 he said or he stated that the reflection on our practice is very crucial because, for example, we need to know if we do this practice correctly or not, and how we will know that, and how we need to improve, and we need to find a way for improvement. Recently, the definition has been developed to focus on practitioners and system and environment. It was like focusing on the whole process, not only patients, not only staff, not only system. We are focusing on all practitioner, system, environment. And the main core of practice development is to transforming the culture to be translated into 9 principles, demonstrated the activities of the whole scope about practice development. This is based on mainly 2021. In 2021, they mentioned like 9 principles of practice development, and they mentioned a clear strategy and a clear way to promote this practice development or this practice principles. Principle choosing. Here I have choose principle number 8, which is stated practice development is associated with asset of process, including skill facilitation that can be translated into a specific skill set required as near to the interface of care as possible. I believe that skills facilitation is exist in my organization. That's why I select or I choose this principle. Uh, However, currently we have a lot of theories that are talking about practice development. Uh, and to be able to use the practice development effectively in our organization, we need to use the same language, and we need to know if all our staff they understand the same meaning of principle or not. For example, in 6 IPSG, 6 International Patient Safety Goal, for example, identify patient correctly. So all healthcare providers, they know how to identify patient correctly because there is a clear steps of identification or patient identification. Here also in practice development, there is like 9 principles. Also, we need to find a clear way how to address and how to promote these 9 principles. And here my discussion and analysis toward principle number 8. I believe that all healthcare provider and clinician needs support and assistance to be able to use their experience in practice development. And according to Manley and Webster in 2006, practice development require a bundle of actions translated into real work scenarios. For example, I'm a practitioner or I'm a clinician and I need to develop my practice. I need to find a suitable environment for improvement, and also I need a support from leaders and from executive to be able to reflect on my practices. And all of that process, it should be coming in a bundle of actions. According to Manley and Webster in 2006, practitioners need to promote collaborative work environment and identifying users and potential stakeholders. Moreover, self-encouragement for reflection on practices to be as a mentor for others, promoting reflective on practices in working group and individually will lead to change how to practice effectively. Uh, Simply in work environment, we are working, for example, in a setting. We are not working in a single organization or something alone. So we are a group. So collaborative work environment is very crucial to be able to achieve the vision of organization, which is should be adherent or meet the same criteria of practice development. And as a clinician or as a provider, we need to encourage ourselves and encourage the others or staffs and other practitioners to reflect on the practices. For example, today I did that and I feel that or I think I did this one wrong. So I need to promote myself in this point or I need to enhance myself in this point. And we need to conduct that individually and we need to perform that in a group. This is the best way to improvement. Of course, maybe we will find some struggles and some difficulty in the beginning of applications of this method, but the outcome will be amazing if we are using if we able to use this way. Also, transformational leadership is very important in aspect number 8. Remember, um, in transformational leadership, the leaders or the transformer leaders who using this way of leadership, he changed the individual and also he changing the system, and also he created a positive environment and a positive change because he's able to communicate his vision and he is able to inspire his employee. And even with transformational leadership, sometimes we will find the employees achieve beyond the expectations or the requirement. Transformational leadership and person-centered leadership. Transformational leadership and person-centered leadership can actively promote culture for healthcare providers to use standard organization value and evidence-based practice. This is according to Debonet in 2016 and Gerling in 2019. Uh, transformational leadership or transformational leaders is the one who's enabling others to act, inspire the same vision or shared vision. He encouraging the heart, he is modeling the way for others, he challenging the process. So mainly he's like taking the staff or the employee from one point to another within a positive push. Also he's caring about or he's focusing about staff needs. He shared the same values. He's encouraging and inspiring the whole team. He promoting and encouraging creativity among the team. uh, all of that principle can help to achieve practice development principle number 8. Also, communication and interpersonal skills is very important. We need to communicate our vision. We need to be a good communicator to be able to transfer or transform our message from one to another. Uh, Also, strong work ethics and staff clinical education, it should be included in our and reviewing 9 practice development principle by IPDC, which is stakeholder. IPDC, it's international practice development collaborative. They shared a curriculum from the foundation of practice development school, which is delivered in UK. They met all together to revise and recheck the practice development principles and um, to be able to articulate this principle, nine principle of practice development. Uh, the main topic which is discussed by this stakeholders or this group, they are talking about unified and accessible language for the principle, which we mentioned this point before. For example, we need to use the same language for principle. We need to use an accessible and easy language to understood from everyone. For example, if I read this principle, I should understand the same which someone else he reads the same sentence. Uh, and action needed for promotion guidance, which is like the protocol or guidance or policy for every or for each practice development principle to be able to promote. And some else also they were talking about principle ordering. Um, some they are saying why this 9 principle they are like in the same consequence. they discuss it's not an hierarchy way, and sometimes we will find some principle relevant and should be included in the first or not. And stakeholder feedback were not seen as ordered or in hierarchy way. Some of them they discuss how practice development its relevant principle relevant to each other. In next slide here, yes, here this is the international practice development in healthcare and social care. Uh, I Okay, and in September 2019, they recruiting the team member from different country around the world, from Australia, from UK, um, from Ireland, to promote this 9 core or 9 principle of practice development. Again, in October and December 2019, each stakeholder or each team member they trying to develop and put some input for this 9 core principles of practice development. And then again in January 2020, data was generated through different method of stakeholder review, synthesized of finding prepared for comparison. And finally in March and April 2020, they compare between practice development from 2008 until 2020, and they generate the last version of practice development. Here in the next slide we will see it. For practice development principles according to mainly in 2008, and here this is the vision, there is I can say here this is the explanation by Tasmania and Australia team in 2020, and here by New South Wales, Australia, also for February 2020, and here is the revision for March 2020, and final revision it's in May 2020. For example, here in the mainly in 2008, the the principle of practice development is associated with a set of processes including skills facilitating that can be translated into specific skill set as required as near to the interface of care as possible, which is the first formula of principle of practice development, principle number 8. And then the principle number 8, it goes with different process by the different team, by multidisciplinary team from Tasmania, Australia, and from New South Wales, and then revision again by different team. And each time they change the formula of principle. And finally, the final revision, they agreed that principle number 8 is a practice development, is a facilitating process that seek to promote critical actions. The final revision of practice development number 8 in May 2020, after many discussions to reformulate the principle number 8 by IPDC, they formulated it finally to be practice development is a facilitated process that seek to promote critically informed action. This is and here our conclusion. Using interdisciplinary team of users and different stakeholders to reformulate the principle and using an accessible language and action required to achieve this principle is the roadmap for everyone to be able to use 9 principle of practice development effectively. Moreover, transformational leadership is vital to promote person-centered cultures and to lead to achieve practice development requirement. And here, my reference. Thank you everyone for the presentation today.